Okay, so here is another jungle game. I got the Xin Zhao. So it looks like for some reason, I started the recording, 12 minutes into the game. So unfortunately, I don't have access to the recording of the first few minutes of the game. So So what we have here is, we just take the dragon and then kill the Echo. So it looks like, did I win the smite fight? Yeah, so I won the smite fight against a Mumu. So you can see what my build is Bloodrazor and Phage. So why this build is good is because you have two champions that are definitely going to build some hit points for sure. So Renekton and Mumu always build hit points, and the odds of me getting on Jinx and Soraka and Syndra is basically 0. So the only champions that I'm probably going to be attacking, if these guys play well, it's going to be very difficult for me to reach them. So more often than not, I will be attacking the Baron or the Dragon or these two tanky guys. So what I'm doing is I'm building damage based on max health and also armor penetration. So I'm building to deal with the kind of tankier guys, as opposed to, building to kill the Jinx or the Syndra, because, if I jump on Jinx, Soraka's just going to heal her forever, and then, I'm not going to be able to do anything. So trying to jump the backline in this game is not going to be very effective. So for some reason we have a top lane Taric. It's really weird. I'm not sure why, but that's what we have. It's kind of a weird. Maybe I should have followed the Taric. What I'm more concerned with is the top lane. Renekton was pushing. I felt like that was a really bad idea to just everyone run mid. Like that. So I don't know. I can't actually kill that guy. I have a level lead, but Renekton is just very strong as a champion. So I don't think that losing that tower is going to be a good idea in this situation. So I stayed top lane. So somehow I think Echo died with his ultimate up. So really there's a lot of crowd control. I'm not going to really get a chance to attack anyone on the back line, with the amount of crowd control that these guys have. So it's really just building to fight the front line. Atomization. So yeah, that was a really big mistake by him to try to attack me. So he wants to do is stun the guy that has tower aggro, but instead he stunned me and when the tower wasn't hitting me, so it's pretty easy. So yeah, I think those are the only damage items that I build, if I remember correctly. And that's just, to deal with. Mumu's already building armor, so there's the Black Cleaver. Renekton's already building health, so there's the Bloodrazor. Soraka also building health. So there's definitely a lot of targets that the Bloodrazor will be effective on. There's also the Dragon and the Baron. The Bloodrazor would be very good for those too. So the Mercury Treads, obviously, to deal with the crowd control, and I'm actually, that's what I'm doing. Is my brain, did the same thing that I did in the last recording. I guess, so I saw myself point at the Mercury Treads, and it's like, oh yeah, that is a really good boots. That was a good boots purchase. So I see, like, with these items, Amumu can't do anything. Like, it's really difficult for him to do anything. I'm just, like, with those items that I bought, he's really screwed in terms of trying to fight me. So this is really good items for fighting against Renekton and Amumu. More so Amumu than Renekton, but yeah, basically he's really can't do anything in that situation. So you mean, you know, he used his stun to get to jump over the wall, but it's like that wouldn't made that much of a difference, right? So I basically killed him in, like, you know, pretty quickly. I think I still would have been able to kill him even without Leona, but yeah, then Syndra is trying to help the Amumu and just gets killed. So that just goes with the elo, it's just low elo, and Syndra doesn't understand that it's impossible to save the Amumu. She should have just stayed mid, and he pushed in the minion wave, but, you know, nobody's perfect. Basically, it is impossible for Syndra to save the Amumu there. I don't know, this guy's... You know, so Syndra made a bad play, and then Kalista made an equally bad play, so... I don't know what they were expecting for me to, like, dive under the tower or something really weird. You know, so I can hear a voice in my head that says, you know, someone would have said that's my fault. You know, but what is my potential here? So here's the situation. Okay, so I'm going to explain it to you logically. Okay, so the reason Soraka walked up is because she knows that I'm not there. If I was there, Soraka would have walked back to tower. Right, so this is like a 0% kill chance. So it's like, if you followed me, we could have killed Soraka, but no. If Soraka saw me, she would have stayed at her tower. So what she sees is Xin Zhao isn't there. You know, we can kill the Kalista. So what Kalista should have seen... Okay, what Kalista should have seen is, you know, Xin Zhao went back this way. Xin Zhao, so right here, Xin Zhao is going this way, which means I shouldn't walk through here. I should follow my Leona. So you see, Leona is way over here. You know, I'm going this way. Kalista is far out of position. So if we both follow her, you know, Soraka is not going to walk up to here, right? That's insane. Okay, the minion wave is all the way... Okay, so if the minion wave is way in this direction, all the way back here, there is nothing to be gained from this. Okay, this is just, like, idiotic. So if I had been here with her, Soraka would not have walked up there. Right? Soraka would not have walked up there. So, you know, it's just a huge bait. It's just really bad. Soraka still has flash. That's just really bad play from Kalista. There's no other way to look at it. It's just really bad. So, you know, you can look at the score and you can kind of see the state of mind, you know, the level that these players are at the moment. You know, Kalista 4 deaths, 2 kills. I have 6 kills, 1 death. You know, so... So, Kalista, did Kalista, no. So is that the same death as before, or did Kalista die again? No, Kalista dies again. Does she? What am I looking at? Yeah, Kalista died again. So she died a second time. So let's look at the minimap, okay? Our whole team is over here, you know, trying to get vision on the dragon or on the Baron. Kalista is by herself in mid lane against a 6-kill Jinx. So this is really Kalista's fault. Okay, she can't do that. She should have been hiding underneath her tower. She should not have been trying to 1v1 the 6-kill Jinx. Okay, so that was really bad. And her, you know, it's really bad. And then this from me is not the best either. You know, I should have walked back to my tower as well. But you know, kind of what I anticipated is that that's kind of like abnormal to check that camp, that jungle camp. You know, the normal progression would just be to go mid and push tower as fast as you can, and you know, to check that extra camp is a little bit wonky. That's not something that is expected. So you know what I'm trying to do is play greedy to make up for the Kalista dying, and it you know really bit me in the butt, unfortunately. So really, this is just Kalista dying twice in a row, and you know I guess I died too, you know, but really, if Kalista hadn't died, we would have been in position to fight a team fight here. You know, where in this situation as Xin, I have like, you know, I have one pure defensive item, I have one hybrid defensive item, you know, and then I have more defense. So really, if they're using everything on me, that's really a bad way to fight. So if Kalista had not died, we really would have been in a position to defend that aggression from them. You know, so it's just really obvious that Kalista just fed twice and just made the game really difficult to win. That's the only like way that I can look at it, you know. And you know, I could have minimized the damage by, you know, giving up the gold from the Raptor camp and just running away. You know, um, that probably would have been better to not even attempt to take the Raptor camp. You know, but what I was hoping is that they would just go mid and not check the Raptor camp, and then I would be able to get some extra gold to, you know, try to get a lead somehow. You know, so it's really this game is hard because when you play at a low elo where the players are worse, you start to adapt to their play style to where like there's certain things that they don't ever do. So you get lazy because you're playing against worse players, and you know if you're playing against a really good player, you have to play a lot better, you have to play a lot cleaner, and when you're playing against low elo players consistently, you get kind of lazy, and you know suddenly you get a player who's smurfing or something, and then they're playing completely differently, and then you have to, you know, you have to not only play the game, but you have to figure out who is playing well and who is playing bad, and you know I can expect this Amumu to make a really good play, you know, the other players won't, so it's like it's you can kind of get lulled to sleep in the lower elos just because people will consistently make plays that are very passive and not aggressive, and then suddenly they change the way they're playing and it can really catch you off guard. So that's kind of, you know, what happened. You know, maybe that's what happened to the Kalista as well, where Jinx and Straka were super passive the whole lane, you know, and then she walked up and died. I don't know. Sometimes your brain just turns off for a second, and then you just die. You can't always anticipate every move. You know, sometimes your brain just says this is worth the risk, and you just do it. Alright, so, you know, you got Amumu's kind of in here. Let's see, so he ults 2 tanks. So it's not the best ult. He got the Kalista, but Kalista's relatively low on items. So, you know, what I was able to do is just, you know, use my ultimate to tank a lot of damage here. So, you know, that's just them misplaying, you know, that's just a big misplay from them. They were very spread out, right? Their team was extremely spread out. So what you had is you had Jinx, Soraka way over here, and they weren't being protected by Amumu and Renekton and Syndra. So what happened is, you know, was this Leona and is that Echo? So yeah, Leona and Echo were able to just kill the Jinx. Soraka can't save her, so she's doing it correctly, where she's saying Jinx is already dead, I should just leave her. You know, but then, you know, they used all of their burst on, you know, look how much damage they did to me, and this whole time Kalista is just free hitting them, you know, from the back. So that's like that's really bad use of crowd control and focus damage. If you look at my damage items, you know, I have one full damage item and one half damage item, and then I have one half tank item, and you know, kind of like half a tank item, and then like another tank item. You know, so really it's not the best target. Is the Xin Zhao is definitely not the best target to be focusing. So I just like completely missed my W. That's something on Xin Zhao, I tend to miss that skill shot a lot. Not sure why, but that's just something that tends to happen. Really weird. So if, you know, if I played a lot of Xin Zhao, I might improve in that area. So let's figure out what happened here. Okay, so this is terrible. This is a terrible idea. This is a horrible play. Okay. So, you know, let's see what happens here. So this is really bad. Okay, this is not good. I think that to take this first tower is okay. You know, to take the first tower is probably fine. You know, but right here we should really back out. Okay, we should go back to base. So what you see here is we have about 15 seconds before their team will arrive. So this is really bad to stay. You know, it's really bad. We did get the inhibitor, but you know, what we really should do is we should all split in different directions, and I should have walked up mid lane, so that's my mistake. What I did is you know, the reality is I can't recall in time to get to Baron anyway, so the Baron's going to go away either way. You know, there's really nothing that I can do to prevent that. So you can see Echo recalls, and then the Baron's already gone before Echo gets there. So we kind of trade inhibitor for Baron. That's maybe a good trade, maybe not a good trade, but it happened. You know, you just got to go forward from there. You know, in hindsight, it would have been better to recall after taking this tower and then defend Baron. You know, but this is how it happened. They're back in the lead now. So that was just really bad. It was really terrible. And, you know, it's the whole team that went and did that play. You know, and sometimes you know the play's bad, but you do it anyway, and you don't know why you did it, but you did. So, you know, it's like saying that I know this is bad, but what I'm hoping is that they're too stupid to realize how bad it is, and then they won't punish me for it. So that's kind of the thought process you have in your brain sometimes is, I know this is bad, but what I'm assuming, you know, what I'm hoping is that the other team is too dumb to realize how bad it is, and they won't be able to punish, you know, capitalize on your mistake. So sometimes that just is what you think. So you know, I don't know. Let's see what happened here. So Taric is kind of doing something that's okay. He's pushing the lane. He's trying to avoid fighting with this up. So, you know, I really did not expect the Syndra to be up here like that. You know, that's pretty, it's pretty aggressive play there. Really, you know, normally if you have the Baron, what you do is you group up as a team and you try not to get picked. What Syndra did is she just went and looked for a pick. So that really caught me off guard, you know, how aggressive she was. And then, you know, really, like, for Kalista to come in and try to, you know, so maybe that at first it's okay, but to continue chasing here is a little bit crazy. So maybe she thought she would have got chased down by Jinx and died. You know, I don't know. But, you know, that's just another kind of bad thing that happened. So this is really unexpected. You know, you have Soraka that's like all by herself down here. And then just Syndra is just randomly like waiting in this bush. That's really, this positioning is very strange. It's not something that I would expect or anticipate. So they really changed their playstyle very quickly, you know. It's kind of lulled to sleep by a lot of their bad play early in the game. So I thought that I could get away with doing something like that. So, you know, really we had the potential, probably if Jing or Kalista had been there earlier on, we probably would have had the potential to win that fight. You know, with Taric was walking towards mid, so it wasn't like all that terrible of a fight to try to take. You know, it's just the timing was just a little bit off, where Taric was, you know, I would have, if it would have happened about one or 2 seconds later, where Syndra walked, you know, or you know, if I had waited a couple extra seconds, we probably would have been able to really get some kills there. But unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. You know, so you have kind of, you have Taric warding here instead of, so if Taric had walked to here instead of warding, then Kalista Taric would have been able to probably get both of those kills. You know, so you can see Taric is like very slow. He probably would already be like right here by this bush if he had not walked up here to ward. You know, and then Kalista maybe he would have been able to pick up that extra kill. So, you know, that it's not like, it looks really bad, but there is some logic, you know, to the situation. Just like, how am I supposed to know that Taric is going to walk all the way here to ward instead of going, right? Like, I can't, you know, that's like, you can't know that many things. So a lot of times what's best is to just not do anything, you know, and then just wait for your team and then respond to what they're doing instead of assuming that they will walk down here instead of, you know, because like this is a really weird ward. I don't understand. To me, this is completely illogical. Having this ward here, I don't understand what the purpose of the ward is. I really don't. It's really weird. You know, like I can't think of any reason why you would walk up here to ward instead of going towards mid where your team is already grouped up. So it's really weird, you know, really strange behavior. To me, it doesn't make sense. You know, it's a thing where if I played with this player long enough, I would start to recognize that they do things like that, and then I would play much more passively. So, you know, what happened, you know, is based on the way the Taric played, where he like flashed under tower for a kill. What I assumed is the Taric would be more aggressive and go for a kill, you know, but he didn't. So it's kind of crappy. So, you know, it just has to do, if you play with players long enough, you will recognize their behaviors, you know, and then you can play in such a way that is appropriate. So you can see here my build is very effective against this guy. I don't know if I actually died here. You know, so this from them is actually really bad. I'm really not sure what they're doing here. So here's the Syndra, you know, being punished for that same playstyle that she had earlier where she was aggressive on me. So, you know, her risk-taking behavior paid off the first time, you know, second time it wasn't so good. So this is just like really, the game just became very chaotic. We stopped grouping up. We stopped communicating. Everyone just went and did their own thing, you know, which is kind of, if they have Baron, you shouldn't really group up and try to fight anyway. What you should do is, you know, try to push out the lanes and then defend towers or something. You know, I really feel like there's really only been one mistake that I feel like I've made in this entire game, and it's that one little mistake in mid lane. So other than that, I don't really see anything that I did wrong from my perspective. So it's like, you know, you have a 30-minute game and I make one mistake. I don't feel like that's super terrible. You know, and you've seen the whole game, so if you think I made a mistake somewhere else, you know, it's fine. I haven't really seen any other mistakes. So like, this is just like, this is really just like some of the worst play that I've ever seen in my entire life right here. Okay, so This is really strange to me. So what Leona should do is look at the map and realize Echo is way back here. You know, Xin Zhao is way back here. What are you trying to accomplish here? Right, this is insane. Okay, you have 2 tanks and then an 80 carry that doesn't have enough items. So like, what is it that you're trying to accomplish? This is insane. Okay, like this is insane. This is horrible. There's no logic to this. Yeah, there's no logic to any of this. It's really bad. Okay, it's just terrible. They just went in and died for no reason. You know, and then the game ends. You know, it's just like lack of awareness of where your team is. You know, so, you know, the reality is if you play a game for 30 minutes, you will start to have, you know, lapses in concentration and you'll do stuff like that. You know, and that's just what you're seeing. Is you're just seeing that, you know, in these long drawn out games, you start to notice, you start to recognize that players will have a lapse in concentration. So what you really need to deal with an issue like that, where players having a lapse in concentration, is you need to have a player that doesn't have lapses in concentration. So maybe it's someone who is lesser mechanically, but is very focused and does, you know, makes good decisions, and then he can remind the other players of what they should be doing at certain times, you know, during the game. So this is why it's useful to have a player who has a strength of he's always making good decisions, even if he's not mechanically super good. So, you know, from my perspective, I didn't really watch Echo too often. I didn't see Taric a whole lot. I think if I had to rate the players by the amount of large mistakes that they made, I would say Kalista definitely made the most mistakes. You know, Leona was in second, you know, then Taric maybe. I can't really, it's hard for me to point out a mistake that Taric made, except for that really big mistake in the mid lane that lost the game. You know, I made one mistake here that cost us 2 kills. You know, Taric made a mistake that cost us 4 kills. So that really, that death in mid was the only mistake that I made. You know, and, you know, Syndra was punished for the same aggressive behavior over here. So it kind of, you know, the kill trade was fairly even in that regard. I think it was, you know, we got 2 kills, 1 death. So it was like we got 2 kills, they got 3 kills. That's kind of the difference that Syndra had with her early aggression. So you can see that this risk-taking behavior paid off in this one specific instance where she was able to kill me. You know, it's just like so many things went wrong there where Taric just like warded here. If Taric had walked mid instead of warding here, then we would have traded kills back for sure. So it's really just like there's so many factors that are involved in the game. And, you know, what I did is I looked minimap, I see Taric walking down, you know, so I think that I can bait them. Or I think that I'm, you know, somewhat safe because Taric is grouping, you know, but what it turns out is that Taric, you know, did this and he walked around up here instead of walking across like that. You know, so it turns out that Taric just went to ward up here instead of going to help. So, you know, this is it's stuff you can't really anticipate. I don't know if it's really anyone's fault. You know, Taric didn't know that I was going to do that. It's not really anyone's fault. It's just kind of just what happens. But I think overall I played fairly well. You know, 9 kills, 4 deaths, 5 assists. It's not a bad score line. In terms of kill participation, you know, Taric participated in 14 kills and he had 8 deaths. I participated in 14 kills, I had 4 deaths. So Echo participated in 11 kills with 5 deaths. Kalista participated in 8 kills, 8 deaths. You know, Leona participated in 7 kills with 5 deaths. So I'm tied for the highest kill participation and I have the least deaths. So it's really like just objectively, you know, I feel like my performance just in terms of the score line and just like by just observing the game just in general is definitely was one of the stronger performances for sure.